to the Midnight Library. A place for all who wish to peruse with many books and sets of old and forgotten knowledge. Entrance is only possible once in possession of a library card. Are you in possession of one such card yet? No. Well, then we must simply procure you one. Yes, the library is open to all who wish to visit. Whether you are from cozy Hazelton town itself, or live on the mossy rock at the other side of the kingdom, yes, you will always have a place to visit here. Well, let us procure you a library card. Let's see. In order to do so, I must request some delicate and detailed information on your person. Alright. For example, an elegant name that I presume you carry. What a lovely name that is. Yes. The next piece of information that I might require of you is any description of your whereabouts. Yes, your whereabouts. Whether you live behind the turned oak at the Copper's Pot River, or have a beautiful mansion in Belltown. All descriptions that you can manage will be totally appreciated. Yes. I see. And that is a house. Yes, with the blue hedges. Oh, how lovely. You describe it so picturesque. I'd hardly believe that we live in the same town. Yes, we sometimes require this information in case you mysteriously help to the disappearance of one of our books. Yes. In that case, a small but insignificant fine will have to be sent to where it is that you live. Nothing to lie awake on. No, absolutely not. Then, for the final piece of information, is quite a delicate one, yes. Do you have any mention of an occupation? You see, sometimes by pure coincidence of the stars or not, we find that folk share the same name and live in the same area. Yes. Therefore, in order to avoid any horrendous mistakes on our part, we ask this little bit of extra information in order to make sure that we have the right visitor. Yes. Yes, truly lovely. Then I assume you are starting to getting to know the entirety of our little town. Yes. Do be careful of any gossiping older ladies. Yes, particularly Madame Albus. Yes, if you ever need a safe place from any nagging nannies, well, you can always come to the library, alright? Lovely. Then I will now finish this card. There you go. Tuck that away nicely. Yes, your own personal library card. Now that you are in possession of one such card, we do ask you to learn and abide by the library rules in the tower. Yes, the rules are few but strict. If one were to put themselves into a position of distrust by the library personnel, well, one cannot but simply put a remark on your library card. Yes. However, if such behavior happens to reoccur again, one cannot but simply send a small fine towards that person and obligate them to do some library work. Yes, those are the rules. And if the situation simply gets out of hand, for example, you start burning books or tearing up the flimsy parchment out of the book, well, I could hardly imagine. But if such behavior were to occur with intent, one cannot but revoke your library pass, burn it, and close the gates to knowledge for an eternity, yes, of 1 year. Those are the consequences. But I trust that you will not end up in such a position. Lovely. Now then, first off, the most absolute requirement of our library is silence. Yes, we request that any communication is down to a soft whispering or a soft voice. Yes, for one does not wish to disturb any sprawling minds that are deeply stuck into the pages of a book, turning the flimsy parchment, being absorbed by the dry ink. And one does also, of course, not wish to disturb the more frequent visitors of the tower. No. Yes, bats and owls will frequent the tower in their hunt for dallies, little creatures that like to nibble the parchment. Therefore, it is utmost important that we create a non-disruptive behavior to allow for this hunt to occur in peace. You might as well discover some sweet berries tucked in between the crevices, nooks of books, treat for the pets. Yes. Bellies are quite pestilence in the town. They have quite hunger for most valued, rare and oldest books. If you ever were to stumble upon such a creature, please tell me immediately. Yes, you can recognize them as being the size of a small fist, with a purple soft fur and silver dots that sparkle when touched by moonlight. On their head and the tail, the fur turns a soft white and is a bit more greyish in the males. They have tiny little claws that they use to climb the book racks in search of dinner. With many hundreds of little teeth, they like to devour anything that looks like parchment, leather, and sometimes even wood. Although they might appear soft and cuddly, we recommend not to try and catch them yourselves. No. Our library visitors often have a scar or two due to a failed petting attempt of such a creature. So, we do have a section in our library with our most rare and valued old books, whose flimsy covers we fear will not long survive the trials of time. Therefore, we simply cannot allow these books to be taken home. No, we do allow you to read them. However, you must then request the help of a librarian, such as myself. I will then put on a special set of gloves. Yes, and delicately turn the pages as you read on and on. That way we can preserve its knowledge for the longest time as possible. All other books, of course, can be taken home for you to indulge on. And we ask you not to take home more than 10 books at a time from our library, and we sincerely ask you to respect this arrangement. You see, we have found this number to be most efficient when walking down the spiraling staircase from the tower. With more than 10 books, the journey just gets a little bit too dangerous, we fear. If one were to assist in the mysterious disappearance of one of our books, we simply cannot but ask for a small fine. Yes, this could be a freshly baked warm loaf for the library personnel, a fragrant cup of tea, or a thick soup. Anything that your creative mind can come up with as a heartfelt apology for leaving one of our books in the window of eternal forgetfulness. We also do request to respect the library opening hours. Yes, the library will open at the stroke of midnight and not a minute later. Then we will accept all visitors, of course. Upon the first trickles of the morning light that sip through a window, we will request to neatly put away all the books in piles and to firm, that you require to know. I do hope that your sprawling mind has got most of that. But if not, do not fret. You might always turn to a librarian or two if in need of some answers. So, I suggest you now roam through many stacks of books, peruse through many racks, pick out some books, flip through them, inspect, see what catches your eye, and see what calls upon you to be read. Good luck. You were able to pick out quite the interesting selection. Yes, generous compilation of different books. Well, must admit, many folk tend to linger around the same section that they are used to. I can tell you exactly who has visited the library based on the books that are taken there. For example, Witch of the West will often peruse through the more political section, finding books about blood relations, court relations, crownings, kings, queens. Then she also has a strong interest for the old and dusty terms about plants, herbs, bones and stones, anything to suit the next potion. For Marivera, the market woman, she is quite a simple mind and has a strong sense towards recipe books, not the intricate and complicated ones, but rather the more simple books with lots of large sketches and not too much text. She might often scribble in the side if she finds a recipe particularly good. Yes. And we have Master Lips's elf of the post office. She will indulge herself with the more adventurous and quest-like tales, with a dash or a sprinkle the Shuno adolescent when he mysteriously finds his way to the library once in a blue moon, of course. He runs in and out as quickly as a hunted cat, making sure as little people see him as possible. But if he does visit a library, his large nose will lead him exactly to the fashion section. Yes. Whatever he may want you to believe, his heart tells us a different story of a large desire for the latest trends. Yes. Now let us inspect your selection and write down on your library card what it is that you wish to take home. Starting off with this collection of fairy tales, winter children's stories, but of course enjoyable for all ages. This little book harbors many a story that suits itself perfectly for a gruesome autumn day when the rain is trickling against your window and the candlelight is still bright. Perfectly compatible with a hot cup of tea, of course, and a warm and cozy blanket to tuck yourself in. Yes. Whether you are reading this one on your own or can hear and listen to the soft voice of a good storyteller, you will find yourself slipping between a dozing off state and wishing to know what will happen next in the story. Next up, we have a collection of recipes. A lovely red pocketbook, bundles of cooking knowledge. It has a beautiful red leather cover and a golden symbol in front. This one is quite a popular book, and you will find some markings in the sides of the recipes, written there by previous library visitors, stating any necessary comments, such as whether the recipe was delicious or not, perhaps some tricks on how to prepare, and whether or not they had a good day. Sometimes quite trifle and silly comments, but nonetheless lovely to read whilst attempting a new recipe. Whether you are a beginning cook attempting a first victorious boiling of an egg, or whether you are a master chef with an unsatisfying hunger for more, this little book will guaranteed give you what you are looking for. lovely little book for you to take home. Well, this is quite an interesting read, I must say. A court minstrel with a love story at its heart. A love triangle between a witch, a priest, and a merchant. Quite daring descriptions in this one, if you know what I mean. Especially certain scenes. I have seen many a blush cheek or a red ear appear, those whose nose was tucked into this book. And even more daring perhaps that our library dares to carry such a book amongst our planks. But then again, knowledge is not for the faint-hearted, nor is reading. It might appear a dull book from the outside, with a grey cover and a single sketch of a little bird and a vine. But inside, we get many sketches, helping any creative mind that is in need of some more inspiration. For example, some lovely fish. 1, 2, 3. Lovely little pig with its curly tail, its floppy ears, and its round little snout. Quite a daring but lovely pig, if I must add. Next up, we have a collection of bard songs and tales written by a brotherly duo of bards who decided to write down their adventures when traveling the kingdom in songs and tales in order to please crowds in taverns. A book perfect to brighten up every dull tavern with a good song. Or perhaps one simply wishes to avoid any more embarrassing moments at a tavern where everybody suddenly knows the right text to the right song, and you are loudly screaming the wrong words. Maybe you would like to study up on some down songs, or to simply enjoy the many lyrical tales described in this one. It's quite a thick book. Lovely tunes. But if I must admit, best enjoyed in the company of a good beer and a set of friends. Lovely pig. Next up, we appear to have a school book. This one details about the history of the kingdom one would require. It is a school book for Madame Bluebottle, the teacher of the school. Uses it to enrich the minds of the young folk with such knowledge. I bet you will be delighted to hear that her school book is taken home by someone who wasn't a student, nor was obliged to do so. Next time, a book about heroes and quests, with on its cover a knight in shining armor on a brave steed with a helmet, quite a powerful plumage. He's pointing a sword at the sky with an axe strapped to his saddle, and his horse beneath him. With a lot of men walking, foot soldiers, towards a hidden castle. This compilation of heroic tales, mystical quests, and some dim-witted adventures is a perfect book for a good relaxing evening when you don't wish to think too much, but just rather enjoy a good story. Perhaps you dream yourself in such a position of knighthood. Instead of a postal bag, perhaps a sword at your side. Instead of the postal cart, a horse beneath your legs. Instead of Madame Hump screaming at you because she got her post too late, a dragon to defeat. Don't tell her I said that. I do believe this one is also a pen, a picture, and a sketch. Don't these look beautiful? A woman and a man by candlelight, exchanging what appears to be a bag of coins. Perhaps some bribery is going on, perhaps not. You will have to read in order to find out. We have quite a curious book about dwarf habits. Yes. A book written by Sir Gilliam Burroughs, if I'm not mistaken. An expert on the species, or so he proclaims, since he has managed to live with them for more than 20 years in their burrows. Yes. I would dare call myself an expert as well, if I managed to survive that most curious little habits of these little creatures. Whatever they like, whatever they dislike, whatever they do first in the morning and last in the evening, what shoes they adore, what shoes they hate, how they trim their beards, how they sharpen their noses, how they look for the most precious gems. All you need to know is written down in this book. With on the cover an X. It's a cold red color. Quite a thick book as well, for they have many habits that need to be shared with the other worlds. Quite the perfect book for a traveling postman's worker, of course, if you wish to get to know more about dwarves and how to manage them. Let's see, we've come to your final pick. Quite a large book as well, and it appears that you do have an interest for politics, which I did not expect, admitting. Very elegantly decorated spine. A book describing all blood relations, family trees, slaughters, accidents that ruined an entire family. Whether you wish to know everything about the court of Mir to the court of Vellum, or simply wish to know which of the nobles are related between the court of Merin and the court of Azaria. All such information is written down in this book. Amongst them, a few honorable mentions of the greatest heroes and heroines of our times. In all honesty, perhaps a bit of a dull read at first glance, but truly worth it if you wish to find the answers to the questions you are carrying. There, I will place these into a small basket so that you can more easily carry them down the spiraling stairs of the town. Yes. if one simply cannot subdue the urge to devour their newfound book treasures right here on the spot. We also provide some comfortable cushions and seats and low-set tables at the top of the tower, where you can read at your own leisure until the library closes. We do request that you do not touch any of the astronomical instruments, for they are quite delicate. Yes. Now, I do realize that we are past midnight and that Hornbeam holiday is in truth over. But I do simply wish upon you a happy Hornbeam holiday and a more bountiful book harvest this year. Yes. And do not